Welcome, friends, to this another episode of the Word Cloud Tarot Show. Today is the 25th of January 2021, and I've noticed this week that Boris Johnson is going to save the Union. Not the European Union, obviously, but the British Union, the United Kingdom. He's off to Scotland because Scotland's, well, the SNP have released a plan for how they're going to get independence, and all the surveys are saying the Scottish people want independence. So Boris is going up there to make sure that they don't get what they want, and instead they have to do what he wants. Now, we're going to do a tarot reading based on what's going to happen to Boris in Scotland. We're going to use my Word Cloud Tarot deck. It's a deck that I designed myself to be the easiest deck to use in the whole world. As you can see, the meanings of each of the cards are written on the card in a word cloud, so that you can read the meanings of the card directly from them. It makes them the easiest card to use in the world, and it also makes them the most transparent to use, as I now give a demonstration. Some people in Scotland like Boris Johnson, but as I understand it, they are in the minority, and Boris may well have an interesting time while he's in the northern country of the Union. We're going to do a horseshoe spread, which is a spread about guidance, because Boris is off to Scotland to give Scotland some guidance. They say, we want to go, and Boris is saying, no, we won't let you go. We will have a card that describes the past of the Scottish members of the Union, one that describes the present, and one that describes the future, and then Boris in Scotland himself. We'll have a card that describes the influences after that, and one that describes obstacles to be overcome, and finally one that describes the final outcome of Boris's visit up to Scotland. Let's put those away. So the first of our cards, this represents the past, and it's the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is known as debauch. This card represents frustration and drunkenness and incompetence and paranoia, rampant delusion, debauchery. All of these things apparently describe Scotland's history in the United Kingdom, or perhaps Boris's history with Scotland. We'll wait for some more cards to come out before we become too clear, too firm. The second card here represents the present of Scotland's membership of the Union. This is the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is known as disappointment, and it represents heartache and misfortune and frustration and helplessness and infidelity and dejection. So that's what we think of the current Scotland Boris United Kingdom relationship. The next card represents the future of the relationship of Scotland, perhaps with England. It's yet another Cups card. This time it's the 12 of Cups. Now, the 12 of Cups is the Knight, and the card represents nervousness and selflessness. It represents innovation, ingenuity, glamour, lots of different things. It was a very cup-heavy reading so far. Will the next card also be a cup? Let's find out. This card represents the guidance that Boris will be giving to Scotland, and that is the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is known as strife, and it represents concerns and competitors and competition and fighting and strife and tension and turmoil. Exciting things to be going on while Boris is in Scotland. Now, as a result of his guidance, we will have some influences. Here we get a Pentacles card. It's the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is known as power. Some of the influences under the word power are cautiousness and spending and manifestation of thrifty savings, Stability is, of course, an important part of power. It needs to be conserved, and liberalism, libertarianism, power, progressivism, all these things are to do with power. There will be obstacles to be overcome, and these obstacles are represented by the first of wands, the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is a card that represents the birth of will and of power. Its meanings include initiatives, possibilities, creativity, long-term things, romance, perhaps, bit of infrastructure. Which of these will be relevant to the obstacles for Scotland in the UK? Who knows? The final card will be the final outcome. The final outcome is the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is known as science. It represents change, and it represents eloquence and a blending. You see there, the alien is blending two different chemicals in a synthesis. And this is one of the things that science, in particular the science of alchemy, which the card has strong links to, is all good at. So these are the cards in our reading. It's time for us to see if they have any kind of overall story, and it's time for the summary. Yes, the history of Scotland's place in the United Kingdom has been one of abuse and corruption. The Scottish people have been suppressed, and they've turned to drunkenness and debauchery and decadent laziness. And that's left them in the current moment feeling dejection and feeling remorse, feeling betrayal and stagnation at the Vote Leaves government. This seems to indicate that they're inclined to leave the UK. And this is the path that they're on, towards a standalone country with rulers who are pragmatic and decisioned, rationalist artists and thinkers instead of whatever Boris is. But here comes Boris with his intervention, his guidance, heading to Scotland to cause some strife. He's going to cause some concerns, and he's going to cause some tension and disquiet. He brings to bear, of course, the influence of the entire state of the UK, power and the foundations and causations of and caution, conservatism, and perhaps even some progressivism. Now, I think the Ace of Wands here represents the birth of a new state. It's certainly the birth of a new will, a culmination of ideas and possibilities. So these are the obstacles that Boris has to overcome: romance and mystery and new possibilities that a new station brings, and the culmination of new potential. So what will be the outcome? Well, the science card here is the outcome, and that represents change, certainly, and I think it probably means it's some kind of new kind of independence, with also retaining a synthesis to the old UK, some kind of clever solution that allows the transformation of the country of Scotland into a new country, independent, but also retaining some of its ties to the United Kingdom. But I think that these cards are indicating that Boris's strife will not prevent the formation of a new country of Scotland. So that's what the cards think is going to happen. If you've enjoyed this reading, you can get your own deck just like these. These cards are very easy to use, and you can get your own deck right now from wordcloudtarot.com. Or we've got a social media account there for you to follow, should you wish to do that. That's it for this week. We'll be joining you next week for another reading. Have a very good week, everybody. Bye-bye.